Out of My Head is part of a series of accessible videos on mental health and well-being developed by and for deaf people in Scotland. In this video, we see Elizabeth share her story about the death of her husband and the effect it had on her mental health. The other videos in the series are The Faces of Mental Health and It's Good to Talk. There is an overarching clip giving more details of all those involved in this partnership approach and the wider purpose of this series of clips. At the end of the video, there are contact details for a number of agencies offering support and advice.
I will never forget that day. It was a Thursday. Me and my stepson went to the... Well, actually, I should explain what happened earlier in the day. There were police coming and going, wandering around. It was so frustrating and invasive. I remember my daughter-in-law asking why the police were here and what were they saying. The police had told me they were here because of the post-mortem. They told me they wanted me to go and identify him. Then, sometime later, we went to identify him. That was still that same Thursday. I wanted to go. I wanted to make sure it was him and he was there. The police and my daughter-in-law came with me for support. My heart was bursting with conflicting emotions. Happiness to see him, then the disbelief. Heartache. Don't want to go through that again. When everything had been done and we finally got back, I remember asking for help and support to get through this. It was a tough situation to be in. Eventually, I got help to arrange the funeral and all that goes with it. I remember my stepson was too upset to deal with anything, so I had no choice but to go home alone. That was awful. How do you deal with a situation when two people are distraught and find it difficult? I remember being so angry and not knowing how to control this rage. But then one day I just stepped up and asked for some help. I remember being told I would have to change all the information relating to my husband. I remember this day thinking, this is a good day to clear out my husband's wardrobe. So I did. Oh, that was a big mistake. Because when I went downstairs to get some black bags and then came back upstairs, well, I was just shell-shocked to see the empty wardrobe. And then I felt I was back to day one again. The incessant crying started all over again. Looking back, I don't even know what possessed me to do it. After that, I couldn't go upstairs for 3 days. I had no choice but to sleep on the couch as I couldn't bear going upstairs. It was awful. I remember asking one of my friends for help and support. She was more than happy to help me if she could. She came to my house and the raw grief started again. My friend helped me pack my husband's clothes. I remember there was lots of hugging and consoling. She was helping me feel supported and I valued that. And then there came the time when people were talking about moving on with life. But I couldn't imagine myself being able to do that. Do I miss my husband? Yes, I do. I still miss him. I remember having to be strong at the funeral. I had to be, as my stepson had said, Mum, you have to be strong. I remember thinking inside, don't say that. Because I am not able to do it, I said nothing. It was terrible. After the funeral service, mindful that I had to be strong, I went around chatting with family and friends. That was fine in the face of it, but inside I was crippled with pain. I had to go on with it and keep it hidden. That's just how it is. Before this happened, I was fine. I was able and in control of my life. But after my husband passed away, my life completely changed, and so did I. There was so much anger and lots of other things going on inside too. I was not happy. I was so sad. The stress was overwhelming. I had zero confidence. It was so bad. Do you know, in the past, I never thought deeply about others who were going through what I was going through. And I think it's because I'd seen families lay their loved ones to rest, and I never thought for a moment. I mean, obviously I could see the grief through their tears, but I never thought I would be in the same position when my husband passed away. The shock and the impact on me, I was inconsolable and so angry. I can remember being really quick-tempered. Yeah, I was. And that wasn't a good feeling. When people asked me how I was, I would just smile and say, okay. I didn't want to talk about how I was feeling. I remember being abrupt and angry with them for even asking, but you just have to go with the flow. When they asked me anything specific, I just wouldn't have an answer. It's not easy. I'm not going to pretend it is. The downside of this is that there are still people out there intimidated by me now because of my past behaviour. That's something I have to work on. When the first real help for me was suggested, I wasn't sure about it. My head was in a bad place. I couldn't make an informed decision. I remember almost forcing myself to try and listen to what they had to say. It took me a wee while to be convinced. People were explaining this and advising that, and it was okay, but quite daunting at times. And then out of the blue, my thoughts in my head were telling me, right, it's time to move on. My life can't stay still. The counselling was really good. Well, for me, it was really good. That was 3 years ago, and I think I'm doing okay now because I'm a little happier and I'm fine. I am. The key thing was really listening to what the counsellor was saying and also allowing other people to support me too, and they helped me so much. I know that life goes on and I have to move on with it, and now I feel better for it because I know, and you may think this is funny, but I know he's watching me from up above, so that makes everything okay. One thing was realising that I can't stay home all the time, because being there gives you too much time to get immersed in your own thoughts. I knew I had to stop that. As what's the point of going over old ground? It was making me ill and making me feel like I was losing my mind. And I know why I did it. It was because I wasn't happy. I was so sad, but I knew I had to accept that I couldn't have him back. I just couldn't. Getting out the house more, attending lots of meetings, chatting and meeting lots of people really helps. I'm still a working teacher. I'm fine now, yes, I am fine. I'm actually good now because of all the support I've had. It's gone full circle and now I'm hardly at home. Funny how things change. I did have really low self-confidence, but now my confidence is back and I know I'm stronger emotionally. It's a good feeling. The first thing I would say is that I totally understand how you feel, but please don't stay at home on your own, lethargic with your own thoughts. You have too many memories to go through. Please ask for help. Ask people just to help you. There is counselling and other treatments too. It's really good for you to ask for help. Please don't let your confidence hit rock bottom. It really feels nice to have that kind of support. Think about your own future. It's okay to do that. Think about other members of your family, your children perhaps. My children are all grown up and flown the coop, so I live on my own, but I am fine with that now. I am stronger now. Again, please try and think of yourself first. It's so important. Think and be positive in your outlook. I have so many happy memories of my husband. We had such good times together. We were together for 30 years. I can enjoy those happy memories now, and perhaps you could too.